still learn ourselves because we're getting older, we're growing, we have our interests change, things of that nature. Maybe we have to start having kids, maybe get married. So things along the path change, so we begin to change. So figuring out who you are at the core is super important.
Yeah. Hi loves, I'm Kristen and this is my sister Lieta. We're sisters in business and today we want to have a conversation with you. It'll be a 3-part conversation, but we're going to overall talk about how to go from self-discovery to manifesting your dreams, your desires, and the world that you want to live in. And as sisters in business, part of the journey of us being in business is definitely including you on what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we're continuing to grow. So make sure you comment below to let us know what part of your journey you're on. Like this video, as well as subscribe so you can see and be aware of our next updates, and then hit the notification too so you can get alerted when we hit a new video.
So today we're going to talk about manifestation. So one of the very first things that I got introduced to when I started my business, and I was actually given to me by my hairdresser, was the book The Secret by Rhonda Burns, which is all about law of attraction. But then along my path, through my journey, through self-discovery and all these things that led me down to manifestation, which is like a higher level of law of attraction. So simply put, learning who you are is the very first step. Your self-discovery, like figuring who you are, what's your purpose, will propel you so much faster into your manifestation process.
Agreed. Like for me, I know it's definitely been years coming in terms of my growth and just understanding where I am, and who I want to be. It's definitely been hours and hours of studying in terms of YouTube videos, going to different seminars, paying for videos, paying for seminars, like all of it. And just investing back into myself to be able to help me get to where I am today, and on top of that, the guide of where I'm going for tomorrow. And in this video, so we'll talk about a couple things that you can do, questions that you can ask, and activities that you can start to tie into your everyday life for you to really understand your purpose here. And if you've already gotten to a point where you understand your purpose, the next step is actually knowing where you're going in the next few years and knowing the steps to get there. So that'll be part 2. So you can skip the part 2 if you want to. Or part 3 will actually be the actual things that we do to assure that we're doing our daily methods to make sure that we're aligning ourselves and manifesting everything that we desire. And we're excited. That'll be part 3. So look out for that one coming next.
Yeah, so one of the first things is self-discovery. Along my path towards between law of attraction and manifestation, one of the first things, or one thing I didn't realize that I had to do that I learned along that path, was learning who I am, learning my needs, my desires, things I love, things that I don't like about myself, like all those things you're learning along that path. And I had some ups and downs, and as we all do. But the ultimate thing, I still have stuff to learn. Like we're constantly still learning. We constantly still learn ourselves because we're getting older, we're growing, we have our interests change, things of that nature. Maybe we have to start having kids, maybe get married. So things along the path change, so we begin to change. So figuring out who you are at the core is super important.
Yes.
Like learning yourself, like especially during this time that we've been in, you've had probably more time to yourself. So maybe that self-reflection may help you digging deeper, healing, and preparing for the next version of who you're becoming.
And with that healing part, that is very key. One activity that I've done over and over and over is there's this woman named Louise Hayes, Louise with an E, Hayes, and she has a meditation that you can reach out or to look for on YouTube that has you talk to your inner self or your younger self. It's a meditation where she guides you back to when you were younger, and it also makes you reach out to your parents when they were younger, and your mother and your father, so that you can kind of get a heartfelt feeling of who you are at your core, like Lieta said. And because once you know who you were as a child, you get closer to why you were put here and what your path is supposed to be. Like for me, I've always wanted to be a teacher, but I lost track of that. Once I got into high school, I started going for what careers would make me the most money. But as I started to go back into my inner self, my inner child, and having those conversations with myself, I started to rediscover that I've always wanted to be a teacher, and I started to implement different ways and different business structures that allow me to teach, not in the uniform way where actually like public school, private school, whatever, but being able to be a teacher in some sort, and getting back to that is something that I've been able to pick back up on and use in my business and use in businesses to come.
Yes, definitely. So take some time. Like I've done the same thing myself. Like just going. Like they always say, like to figure out your true passion in life, to do that self-discovery, is going back to who you were as a child. Because typically your passions and all the things begin as a child. So maybe figuring out what those core things were that you created and loved as a child, and now bring that down to your adulthood, heal those things you need to heal, and that self-discovery, you'll figure out who you truly are, what you truly love, and what's your passion, what you're meant to be or do on this earth. Like, what impact are you going to have on this world?
And so 2 other things that I want to add on top of that, taking the time to go backwards, is one, definitely you don't want to go too far back, because we can get so overcome. Like, it's the song in Frozen, if you haven't seen it, it just talks about how you can go too far into your older truth and you can get lost in it, versus just taking in understanding enough to be able to then push you forward. But 2 books that I would recommend, they're both by Gary Zukav, and it's one of Oprah's, one of the books that she recommended, but it's Seed of the Soul and Mind of the Soul, if I'm not mistaken. But both are by Gary Zukav. Those books have really opened my eyes to the fact that we're just not, these 5 sensory people, like, the smell, the taste, the touch, like those senses that we're taught in school, where we also have that 6th sense, and how to get in touch with that 6th sense so that we are truly in alignment with our purpose.
Exactly. Okay, so before we get to the last piece of what we're going to share, guess what? It's time to make sure you comment below, subscribe, share this with as many people as possible. Like, people need to hear this message. Those who can benefit from this, make sure you share this with them. Yeah. So what I'll say, one super important thing for me whenever I'm trying to figure out my self-discovery and as I'm constantly still growing, is I put my hand on my heart and just ask God to guide me. Show me which way to go. Show me which way. Am I on the right path? Like, sitting still, allowing God to lead you is super important, because or whatever your religious background, whatever you do, whatever you believe, the universe, whatever you believe, put your hand on your heart, listen to the inner person or the inner child, whatever it is listen into it and hear what way is guiding you.
Yeah, and it's important to ask the proper questions. I know there's a seminar by Tony Robbins where he talks about asking the right questions. So as you're going through your day, you can ask questions as you go about it. Like, God, where am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to talk to? Who am I supposed to connect with? What am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to interact with this? What am I supposed to learn from this? Like, these are core questions to help you guide where you're going, so that you can assure that you are in alignment and will continue to stay in alignment. And as Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks always teaches, like, you start your day off in momentum towards your greater self. And if you ever in the course of the day lose touch with your momentum, it's okay. Just restart and keep going. And those questions can help you to make sure that you are continuing your momentum towards getting the answers that you want and living the life that you desire. So we definitely appreciate your time. We hope you are staying safe, staying well, and sending love and blessings to your family. And just as a last courtesy, make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. Let us know how you're going on your journey. Some of the things that you are doing to help you to continue your self-discovery, so that we can also learn from you and share this platform with you. So subscribe, and we look forward to talking with you soon. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2.